stuff going on. And we've got Ali Gerbrap here running Agility MP. We've got Tilo running HP MP and Fryteeth with a more standard Strength HP build. So we're going to see some different statistics at the outset here. A little bit more agility actually for Tilo and Fryteeth, a little bit less, but a little bit more HP and attack power for Ali and Tilo. So we'll see what we got in the opening here.
Looks like the first chest was a torch, and then we're going to get double magic keys. Which should enable our runners to just go outside, grind up enough money, and get themselves some more keys.
Yep, there are a couple different ways to play this opening. It looks like Tilo and Fryteeth are opting to save their keys. Ali stopped outside, so I'm not sure if that was maybe incidental or if he's going to do the same thing here. He is headed back up to the throne room.
Maybe he was
so
looking to
give the treasury. Yeah.
Maybe he was looking for a town nearby or something lucky.
Entirely possible. Got an herb and a torch so far, and it looks like that second torch was actually a ground chest, so it was wings. And this other one is also herbs. I suspect Tilo's going to reset out of this, and he does. Not much in the treasury to speak of there. The torches you could maybe grind for an opening, but it's probably not worth the expenditure of that opening key.
Well, unless we really did end up with a synth special and everything has breath or hurt more.
Well, right, exactly. But if that's the case, they've still got that key saved, and they can always reset back to it. And you can at least try to do some damage with that opening torch. So, you know, we'll see what happens here. The enemy set will determine a lot of how the opening of this seed goes.
Now, did anybody check underneath the castle to see if there was maybe a cave or something helpful under there?
I don't believe so.
I mean, I know it would be an extra minute or so and another reset to save the key again, but, I mean, you could have gotten lucky and maybe backdoored into Garanum.
Yeah, you never know. Some people do opt to check that door as well with that key, and sometimes you spike a lucky sword or lucky armor, and that just kind of changes the whole face of the scene.
Or even just a gold chest in Free Stuff Cave and you can buy more keys.
I mean, yeah, it's something as simple as that too, so. But here we go. Ali's managed to get his first level. Got a spell with that one too. It's heal and hurt more. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, off to the races now. Sadly, Tilo taken out by, oh no, I'm sorry, he actually managed to get the wizard.
So now this is the interesting thing. Early hurt more, especially when you don't have much MP. You decide to go out and try to explore a little bit and maybe get a lucky enemy with that hurt more, or are you just going to stick around and maybe pick up the first few levels? We're playing on just fast experience this week, so it's the same experience setting as the default flags. So what you opt to do with this opening hurt more, I think, is a really interesting decision, and we'll see what our racers are going to attempt to do with it.
Sadly, Tilo taking a death to a scorpion, but I think it might have been intentional.
Entirely possible. Get your resources back. Ali was able to get a metal scorpion with his. That's a pretty good use of 5 MP. Jumping all the way up to level 4. So that was actually a couple of levels at once for him, so I can't quite parse out which was level 3, which were level 4 stats, but Tilo right here is going to head up to level 3. And on his build, he's going to get 7 power, 2 speed, 0 hit points. So not much on level 3, at least. It looks like level 4 then would bring the outside spell as well.
Oh, early appearance from the Fun Police sends Tilo back to the castle.
Yeah, no amount of hurt more is going to do anything about that.
Well, I mean, we could try throwing cookies, but it wouldn't really work.
Are you sure? Have you tried?
I don't know. I don't know what a red dragon would eat. Other than, you know, Tilo.
Chiefly heroes, I think, is the red dragon stuff. Or would-be heroes. Tilo
Right.
did jump. Sorry.
It's okay, good.
I was just going to say, Tilo did jump up to level 4 there. He's been bopped by this golem a couple of times, though. So it looks like the only possible route of escape is to the north. The south looks like a dead end. And the north zone there does have some golems and some other nasties in it. So we'll see what happens here. Fryteeth's actually just about to jump into the XP lead with that Droll Magic kill.
Yep, he made really good use of Hurtmore against a Metal Scorpion to jump from 2 to level 4.
Yep, anytime you can use those opening Hurtmores efficiently, that really helps you out. And really just not getting back attacked when you have level 2 Hurtmore is, a blessing. So whenever you can kill something that would otherwise get you first, that's a big goal.
Yeah, I usually try to wander away from the castle and find the juiciest target there is. Be like, can there maybe be an Axe Knight hiding over here somewhere?
Here, Allie has found our first town, and it looks like it's Remulder, so he's going to get his hands on some more keys, and that means he'll be able to formally open the treasury and perhaps check the basement. We'll see what he opts to do first. I think Tilo has enough money here to buy a key, and so he's going to get his keys, at least one key repurchased at the back door here, and check the basement.
Come on, Swamp Cave going to Garrenham, because that would be fun.
That is always fun. Allie is checking the Remulder chest. It is just gold, but it does open the possibility that he could buy some equipment here, depending on what the Remulder shop has.
And Fryteeth going up to level 6.
Allie is going to get a hand axe here, so that's worth 15 attack power. That'll put him in better position to take some of these earlier enemies without having to use resources. And I did not see what was in the basement of Tangential. Tilo noped out pretty quickly there.
Sadly, I missed that one as well. Though I'm betting he's wishing for a fairy flute right about now.
Yeah,
I think that's what, the third golem?
I think that's the third golem. Okay, so the basement is in fact the Shrine Cave, which is immaterial in this flag set, of course, because there is no need for the Silver Heartless Stones or the Erdrick's Token. They're not even in the seed because Charlock is already open.
Allie's gonna go ahead and get all of his utility items from the treasury. Which does mean we're not going to have a gold grind, I think.
That is what it means. So probably some of that more expensive equipment off the table. Fryteeth here coming into Remulder as well. But with the early Hurtmore, that does offset that a little bit. It's just a matter of the late game. I feel like it's always a little disappointing if you're running an agility build in these flag sets that have repel in dungeons, and then you can't get your hands on a silver shield, because that's part of the purpose. You want to have your defense as high as possible so that you can just skip and counter.
Tilo finds Caitlin and helps himself to a copper sword and a small shield.
Not bad for that amount of money. Allie ran into a wolf, which was the first enemy I think we've seen so far which has the big breath.
Oh, come on, Fryteeth, verify the seed! Or the red dragon's just gonna say no.
Yeah, we've got, the enemy sets have not been very kind so far. Allie, however, is picked up level 6. He's got 14 strength, I believe that was 5 agility, 1 and a 1. So we'll start to see some divergence here as we get into the middle levels between our runners based on their builds. So Allie's agility and MP should start to pick up a little bit.
Question from chat. Hi, Ursine. We started with double gold key and a torch, I believe, in the treasury. I'm sorry, in the throne room. Nothing really helpful in the treasury, and so far they've only gotten Hurtmore as far as offensive spells at level 2. Oh, Tilo, however, first runner to find the big C.
And a weak breathing golem, or pardon me, Goldman. So those big lumbering stony types have had Tilo's number so far this seed.
I think I saw just off the corner of Sharlock there was a cave, I want to say.
Ali is having a go for the coordinates here. He's probably not going to be able to get back out, so we'll see what the coordinates are. We've got 17 north, 9 west. So if that's really anything other than the death necklace, there are only 3 possible search spot items in this flag set. That could be the sword or armor.
Now, I know Philo also found Caitlin. Did he check the coordinates while he was there?
I don't actually think that he did.
That could, if this ends up being the armor or, the sword, this could be really huge for Allie.
Yeah, especially with no gold grind available, getting one of those free pieces of equipment on account that's pretty... Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. It looks like this is going to be across the water. Oh,
well,
17 north, 9 west. And there it is. He's peering into that swamp across the shore.
Yeah, but it's noticeable enough that if he can find the way over there, that he might be able to continue the count without worry.
Exactly. It's just a matter of how you get to that spot on either side.
Poor Fry Teeth, running into the Goldman, and also finding out that he's got baby's breath.
So Ali checked to the west of Remulder here. It looked like there was no way, at least that direction. So if he's going to pick up his count, it's going to be via some other direction.
Well, maybe we actually have 2 continents, given that to the south of the castle it was just, another little tiny island?
Yeah, south of the castle was a dead end, just had a little island there. It looked like the the southern boundary of the map. So, nothing due in that direction is going to have to be further to the north, or perhaps even through Swamp Cave, depending.
I want to take a moment here while the runners are all doing their exploration to say, sorry guys, I'm really bad at this, but anyway, if you're looking for more great Dragon Warrior Randomizer action, you can follow all of our runners tonight at twitch.tv.allygerbrat, Tilo, or Fry Teeth. We have Lord of the Synth on restreaming, Archfield Monk as co-commentator, and our tracker Angel FM.
So interestingly enough here, Ali went into Swamp Cave, which appeared to be east of Remulder, and he decided to check the spike tile, which was a golem. So if the fairy flute is out there somewhere, it's one of the possibilities for that spike, for the search spot, or possibly just in a chest somewhere. Then that would help out a lot with rescuing the princess.
Fry. Did Fry Teeth make it to the old man to get his coordinates?
I think he did. He was headed that direction, and so I glanced away momentarily. He is attempting to count now, so I suppose he did get the coordinates, but he's about to be probably
sadly disappointed.
Yeah.
Tilo upgrading to clothes. At least it's better than no armor.
That's 2 defense. That's something. You never know when 2 defense is going to be the difference between breaking something and not.
You're back picking up some leather armor, so that's a slight improvement.
Yep, any armor will be fine. I think here, Tilo actually has found this little zone here. It's the first time I've seen this zone. There was a Magiwyvern and now a green dragon. with the Hurtmore spell, you could probably sit in that zone for a little bit and pick up some levels reasonably quickly, unless this is also the Golem zone. But Tilo's going to be the first to reach level 7 here. 6 power, 10 speed, 0 hit points, 14 magic points. And just like that, Tilo has indeed stayed in this zone, and he's picked up level 8 right away.
It turns
So he
out the
jumps
green
up again. Go ahead, CD,
looks
sorry.
like it's okay. It looks like the green dragons have stop spell, so he actually got really lucky to be able to take that one out without his spell getting blocked.
Yeah, exactly. Has kind of just enough attack power right now that even if the Hurtmore doesn't kill it on the first go, he can swing and take it out like he did there. So I may have misspoke earlier. I believe Swamp South is actually to the east of Camplin, not to the east of Remulder. And Fryteeth now is going to check that spike spot too. And Ali on his level 7 enjoying that 0 HP gain.
I missed it while I was laughing at Allie. What was on the spike tile?
It was a Golem.
So we're definitely hoping for a fairy flute.
For sure. Depending. I mean, if the stats, keep going, but you usually don't want to have to level enough. They do have heal more, so as long as you have enough attack power, you can still take a Golem. It's just a little more resource intensive.
Allie,
Allie,
continuing the count.
Oh, there he goes. Great pickup by Allie
Oh,
there.
very
Erdrick's armor.
nice,
He
Allie.
just shot right out of Swamp North and found the spot. He recognized it immediately, and he's the first to get his Erdrick's armor.
That was that's really huge for Allie. Now I'm wondering if did Fryteeth make it to the other end of Swamp?
He did, but he went south first, and I think maybe he got bopped before he was able to go north and then figure out that was the spot. So hopefully he goes back through for his sake, because otherwise he might just ignore that if he thinks that maybe wasn't the spot.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like there was anything else there other than, the massive amount of swamp at the top, so not really much of a reason to go back. I was about to say that would make the green dragon really good for farming until it just killed Allie.
Yeah, still only 50 defense with Erdrick's armor and the silver shield, the small shield. Yeah, silver shield, we all wish. And 36 HP total at level 7 on Allie's build, so it's still pretty rough to get around, just in the sense that you can really only tank one hit from any of those mid to late game enemies, and then you better hope the Hurtmore takes care of business.
Yes, no, Chibata. The count is really low in numbers, but you have to actually get through Swamp and continue it using the landmarks.
Tilo's going to get his coordinates now, so if we expect to see the same progression from him as we have from Allie and Fryteeth, he's probably going to head back right away. He's going to death warp off these tiles and try to count it and get to the coast and go, okay, well, I've got to figure out a different way to get there. In the meantime, other than Allie having the armor, things are staying relatively even. Fryteeth on 500-ish experience. Tilo's got level 8, Allie's got level 8. Oh, and the wolves, we had seen the DL2 breath from the wolves earlier, but they apparently have sleep as well, so those you either want to hurt more or avoid entirely.
Tilo getting the good news that it should be easy to find the armor once you can find the other side of the swamp.
Yeah, it's a fairly recognizable landmark, the way that kind of body of water lines along there, so as long as he can pick up the other spot, he should be okay. Allie, meanwhile, has found the mountain cave. Didn't quite see where exactly that was, but the first chest here will be an herb. There's nothing doing much so far. Second chest in Mountain Cave for Allie is a cursed belt.
Well, with no gold grind, that could be useful for buying stuff and things.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking about that. So if you want to upgrade a piece of gear, those are worth 180 gold, so they're not going to do much for you otherwise. That was last week, where you really wanted a lot of cursed belts.
Well, I mean, we are taking the princess to the Dragon Lord. The least we could do is bring her a present.
I'm sure she'll appreciate it.
Fright Teeth coming across an Axe Knight. This actually wouldn't be a terrible place to grind for a bit.
Oh, 5th chest Mountain Cave is the big stick. Erdrick's sword was down there. Allie's got that now too, so he's got both pieces of Erdrick's gear. That's really, really big. That said, with the early Hurtmore here, it's not... this is still a very wide open race.
True, and the HP's still a little low to be taking on anything too big.
Yeah, exactly. At level 8, 39 hit points on the non-HP builds, and on level 9 for Fryteeth, in fact. Just now picking that up. He's only got 41 HP. So he's the only one running an HP build, and even his HP totals are... that's well below average for level 9.
Looks like a pretty good complement of spells. He's got Outside and Return, so when he is ready to rescue the princess, he should be all set.
Yeah, Outside and Return can actually be really big deals in this flag set, and it just helps with the routing so much and avoiding battles in between your princess rescue and everything else.
I didn't quite see. Did Tilo make it over to finish the count yet?
He has not yet. But it looks like...
Now, is that swamp that he just walked by?
I think it is, if I'm not mistaken, because he was in Cantlin, and I'm pretty sure that's where Swamp South is, so it looks like he's headed a different direction.
Yeah, Paradox. Sadly, the Golem is actually the spike tile enemy in Swamp, so they're gonna have to find a way to take him down.
Yeah, and I mean, so that's either you're talking flute, or you just have to grind until you have enough HP to do it. Even with Allie having Erdrick's armor and a small shield, you still only got 54 defense points right now. And on 39 HP, you can tank one hit exactly from a golem, and then you're done. And even then, you might not, because he's still at a range where he could get one-shot by a golem here. So, you know, there's still a lot of work to do before you can even rescue the princess in the sea.
Well, from what I understand, it wouldn't be a Synth special without a little bit of a twist.
I know, right?
I mean, who doesn't like, you know, grinding endlessly wherever you can find a good tile or zone?
For what it's worth, it looks like the enemy zones have loosened. Well, of course, I said it, and then of course, Tilo gets attacked by a red dragon. But there have been a fair number of enemies out and about. Some rogue scorpions, some star wyvern, like we're seeing here for Allie. As long as you don't get back attacked, you stand a pretty good chance of being able to take them out. So things like knights that can be one-shot with Hurtmore and Magi Wyvern are very valuable in this situation.
Yeah, I didn't see exactly where Fryteeth was, but I'd want to go back to wherever he found an Axe Knight. I'd want to go back there because it's also a swamp, so you're gonna get slightly higher spawn rate, I do believe.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if it's really, I think, at this point, all about finding a good zone, because they know they can't grind the swamp tile. So if they find maybe Hawksness and there's something good there, that could be an option. But really, I think it is of a lot of importance to find a good grind at this point, because the stats are poor in terms of HP especially. Tilo has hit level 10. Oh, 22 power, 1 speed, 11 hit points, 23 magic points. Pretty big level there. Still only at 50 hit points total.
But still, that's gonna start to bring you right into the right range there. And where is he?
He's in the dark.
I know, but that doesn't help.
Well, we know he's not in Tablet Cave because he's had a couple of encounters so far. This
not,
might be Mountain Cave.
Not all of us gonna find our way in the dark here, Archfield.
Well, I'm just saying, this looks like Mountain Cave. He went up and then, yeah, this is Mountain Cave. So we've already seen Ali clear this. We know that the 5th chest is the sword. So if Tilo can get down there, then he'll have possession of the game's most powerful weapon as well. But he's still got a little ways to go.
It's actually kind of handy that the armor's on an somewhat easily locatable search tile, because we have no gold grind, so otherwise it would be try to work your way up to what, full plate?
Yeah.
At the very least?
Yeah, you'd want full plate probably. Magic armor's expensive, and the thing is, the magic armor and the full plate both have the same defense power. It's 24. But the magic armor does provide that little bit of
passive healing.
Yeah.
It has a few perks. There we go. It looks like Fryte's continuing his count.
Yep. And I think that is the spot. No, there's maybe one north, I want to say. I could be... Nope, one east. Okay. So Fryte's got his armor too. And as you see there, we didn't really talk much about the armor at the time CD. But the armor is pretty good.
Oh, I think it's better than good. It provides you with healing for every single step you take and extra protection against Dragon Lord 2 Breath. Plus, it looks nice.
It's pretty sharp. I think you could wear it really to any formal event.
Well, I mean, it has a cape. Who doesn't like capes?
I know, right? So I think Tilo he got stopped by a red dragon. Ali had not seen any of those in his trip through Mountain Cave, but Tilo did get one, and so he wasn't able to get Erdrick's sword from the bottom of Mountain Cave. And that just brings to mind, is he going to go back there, or is he going to skip it? And I don't know, it's a really tough call because of the way the statistics are going so far, but I mean, Tilo's been very unfortunate in that a couple of times he's been sort of dissuaded from going a couple of different places where it turned out there were key items.
Well, I mean, he is a very heads-up player, so you'd have to think he's probably going, okay, well, what are the odds that this is something I'm definitely going to need? He knows there's not going to be a gold grind, so if Mountain is the only other cave he's found, he's probably going to go back.
Here he actually did pop through Swamp North, and I think he's now realizing that this is where he has to pick up his... Or is he? Oh no.
You're so close, Tilo!
Tilo!
Oh no! Let's just pop out of Swamp Cave and find another golem.
Ugh.
Come on, Tilo, turn around!
So I guess there's a little bit more territory to the south of Swamp North than I realized. It looked like everyone else had basically skipped this area. Tilo did pick up the coordinates, but I don't know that he realized that was the spot where he picked up his landmark.
Yeah, he did the original count, and he went to the edge of the continent. I just find it curious that I guess it's not recognizable for him right now.
Well, and he does. It looks like he has headed south here. I think he was one of the players who had seen this cave west of Charlock before, and it is Tablet Cave, so he's gonna get a free chest here.
I think about the only amazing thing that could be in here would be the fairy flute at this point.
A fairy flute would be actually pretty nice in this seed.
Yeah, it'd be pretty handy.
I guess the fighter's ring is still out there too, but that's not what I would call requisite.
And sadly, it's just another cursed belt for the princess.
Oh man. So right now, it looks like the experience has remained relatively close. Allie, if he gets this green dragon, will be a level 10. Fry Teeth, if he gets this rogue scorpion, will be another rogue scorpion away from level 10. And Tilo, unfortunately, has been run blocked again by a golem. It has just been a miserable go against those golems for him this state.
Yeah, he's really not having very much luck trying to just go in a direction and find things without running face first into a boulder.
Darn rocks. I'm not quite sure where Allie is right now in terms of the map, but I do know he's in the town of Cole. We know that the best case scenario here is he might find the fairy flute in its vanilla location, because he's already got sword and armor.
Does find a large shield and has the gold to pick it up, though, so that's also pretty decent.
That's also pretty decent. So nothing on the Cole search tile. So if the flute is out there, I guess it could be in one of several places, perhaps Hawksness, perhaps a chest. Could end up being in Charlock, which would be disappointing. But the grave is still out there unspotted. And I think Tilo has realized he can do this count. He's actually using the search grid method, it appears. He's not quite sure which of what his landmark was from the other side, but he knows it's in this area, it seems.
Well, you can just about see Tantagel from there, so he's got to know he's close.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. So all runners now in possession of Erdrick's armor. And honestly, with levels like these and the HP still in the low 50s, the armor is so huge for that reason. You just get that heal walking, and it's a massive benefit. Tilo checks the swamp spike for the first time and finds his arch nemesis lurking there.
That he must be thrilled, and now he's probably going, alright, where's the fairy flute?
Yeah, just gotta find that flute.
Part of me wonders, since they have the armor, he knows where Charlock is. Now, granted, I don't think Tilo has the big stick yet, but do you think he'd consider, if he gets close on the stats, do you think he'd consider going and looking in Charlock for it?
Oh boy. I mean, I think I would grind first. It would have to be really bad, because the thing is, we still don't know where Hawksness is, so if there's a decent grind spot there, then that seems like you should pick up a few levels first, because the levels are still pretty close at this stage. It's only, what have we got, 2175 is the total you need to get to level 11, so Tilo is actually almost there on that score. He's, I believe, still has the experience lead at this juncture. Yeah, he's about 200 or so ahead of Allie, so I think I would grind first, and then if the levels prove bupkis, then maybe think about it.
I mean, they'd have to be really terrible for you to want to do that, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at this point, like, look at Allie's stats, so he's got a slightly different build of, or actually he's using the same build as Tilo, so we can get a reference point there, but with the sword, Allie can take the golem right now. He's just gonna have to spend some heal mores to do it. And he's not necessarily going to get a swing in between each one, because the golems will still hit pretty hard. But, you know, it's not optimal to fight the golem on this little HP.
So, have we seen? Have we seen any of the other towns other than, I think we just found
No,
and we've
so
seen Cole, Cantlin.
Colecat, and Remolder. So we haven't seen Breckenary. We also haven't seen Hawksness. There is... so Allie clears the back of Garanham. Looked like the fighter's ring was there. Not much else to speak of. But he is going to head downstairs. And it's the Rainbow Drop Cave. We also did see Allie clear the top 3 of Grave, and there wasn't really much of anything there either. Of course, there's very little else important for Allie to find at this point. He'd really just theoretically be looking for the Death Necklace. Oh, and here we've got a Town Cave stack. Stones of Sunlight Cave, which has 1 free chest, and then that's either Hawksness or Breckenary to the north of it.
I think for once I'm rooting Come On Hawks.
Yeah, I think I would be too there, but just Breckenary. He's going to get the heal, and if this is the primary direction in which to explore at this point, then he might be on the trail of Hawksness. Tilo did pick up level 11, and I unfortunately missed it, but comparing with Ali's stats, he picked up 16 more strength, so even with the Copper Sword right now, Tilo has 101 attack power. Only, I say only 8 hit points, that's an above average game, but it still means that he's sitting on 58 total, so still some more work to do there in terms of picking up the necessary statistics to get the job done here.
Now, has Thelo seen any of the zones with either the Axe Knight or the Rogue Scorpion? Wouldn't be terrible.
I know he's seen Rogue Scorpions, so it's probable that he knows where those are. I don't know that he's seen an Axe Knight yet, though, although we see one on Fryteeth's screen right now. I wonder where exactly this zone is. Because if it's the same zone as that Night Zone, that's a pretty good hurt or grind spot. Because Charlock is open, though, you could always maybe duck in the top floor there and see if it's a decent grind area, too.
Now that they have Erdrick's armor, those green dragons those would be pretty nice.
Tilo's got 800 gold and he's poking around in all these shops. I have to believe he's looking for a large shield here. He knows that's the best it's going to get in this seed. One assumes, because there's no gold grind available. I think Ali's making a play on the spike here, which is interesting. I don't know if this fight is especially winnable. The Golem's still going to hit for upwards of 40 damage at this point, so yeah, he noped right out. So I would say this, I think the first player who finds Hawksness, if there's a grindable enemy there, or I guess at least at minimum the Fairy Flute, they're probably going to have a little bit of an advantage, because otherwise things are reasonably close. Neither Fryteeth nor Tilo have the Erdrick sword yet, but the strength is high enough that you, strictly speaking, might not need it. Like right now, Fryteeth has level 11 as well. He's got 98 strength raw. He doesn't even have a weapon, and he's still pushing 100 attack power.
That's pretty impressive.
So Fryteeth, of course, on the strength HP build, has a little bit more of each. So he's got 7 more strength than Tilo does at the same level, and 4 more hit points. But the HP gains haven't been big enough for that to really show itself just yet. has reached level 11 now as well, so all of our racers on equal footing there at minimum. So let's think through this CD. What are the chests we haven't seen so far? We haven't seen bottom 2 of Grave. What else could still be out there? I think not much, right?
Yeah, bottom two of Grave. I think you said nobody's found. I mean, it's not a chest, but nobody's found Hawks, and then just Sharlock. So Fairy Flute would be kind of mean if it's locked in the castle.
For sure.
And sorry, guys, if I seem a little bit distracted. I'm working on cropping the next race.
No worries. We are about 41 minutes into this one, our first of 2 races this evening, this here on Randomania. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Archfield Monk. My commentary partner is CD Improv, who's getting set up for this next race. And right now we've got a pretty close one, but Ali Gerbrap has found Hawksness, and he's taken down the Axe Knight and has found the Fairy Flute.
Oh,
so the
that's
Fairy
huge.
Flute, well, that's a big deal, and we wouldn't normally say that about the Fairy Flute. It almost sounds strange to even say it, but the spike monster guarding the princess, and the Three's Company's flags, is a golem. So that's actually really huge.
And we could always try to talk McGrew into adding some funky music with it.
I think Ali has headed straight back. He's going to heal in Cantland, it appears. And... this is interesting. He's headed toward a weapon shop. I think maybe he was going to get keys, it looks like. So he might have only had 1 key left and decided to visit this key shop because it was the most expedient way to get more keys for the princess rescue. Because he's headed back toward Swamp, I would assume, after he heals here. So just to give the capsule summary of how things are going in this race so far, Ali Gerbrap has been the first to most of the key items here, was the first to pick up the armor and the sword. Tilo actually has the experience lead at the moment, and has pressed on to level 12, which was good for 1 strength, 3 agility, no hit points again, and 5 magic points. The HP total is still quite low. And it remains to be seen here exactly what our racers will decide to do if the HP remains depressed, because a Charlock dive, even with Erdrick's armor and the shield, would be difficult because the agility has remained very low as well. Even those of our 2 racers who were on an agility build have, in Tilo's case, is only broken into the 50s, very low 50s in agility. So this is an interesting to see the way it's developed in terms of its statistical progression. Just massive amounts of power, even for those not running strength builds. But so this could be going on for a little while yet.
Which makes me feel absolutely horrible that I have to leave in just a couple of minutes.
It's really okay. I have chat to help me out, right, chat?
Oh, and I know Angel FM has just been waiting for a chance to heckle from the sidelines.
Angel FM is easily one of the most helpful individuals to me personally that I've ever encountered in my entire life. But seriously, Angel's pretty great. He is our tracker this evening. Lord of the Synth is our restreamer. We are about 45 minutes gone here into this race, and it looks like we might be going for a little while yet. Ali having some fun with his MTI level again.
Okay, sadly this is where I am going to have to leave you. I'm having some audio issues getting the next restream set up, but I wanted to thank you very much for jumping in and helping out tonight. Same to Angel FM and the Lord of the Synth, and good luck, have fun to all of our runners.
Thank you so much for stepping in yourself, CD. It was great, great being with you.
I don't know if great is a word that applies, but at least it was fun.
No, it is exactly the word. Alright, so Tilo has the flute and he's got enough MP to continue his grind here in Hawksness. So he's in a little bit better position in that regard than Ali was. Ali was pretty short on resources when he discovered his flute. It looks like Tilo's going to take advantage of this opportunity to hurt more himself some Axe Knights. Fryteeth still operating without a weapon. Not a huge deal in this seed when you've got 99 strength on level 12. But he is going to take a look at the shop here, I believe, after picking up Remolder's gold chest. And I think there was at least a hand axe available here, and he's going to go for that. So Fryteeth picking up an additional 15 attack points, it'll take him to 114. That's probably enough to get it done in a seed like this one. But in order to beat that golem, I either need some more HP or the fairy flute. He has neither as yet, but Tilo does have level 13. 1, 1, 4, and 1. As well as the final spell, which was Stop Spell. So he's just going to keep on grinding here, and I can't say as I blame him. Most of the talk, at least for my part, in this seed has been about the low hit points, which for Tilo and Fryteeth both sit at 62. But the agility has been rather low as well, even for those on agility builds. 52 for Tilo right now, level 13, so a Charlock dive doesn't especially sound very pleasant. So we're going to get some Axe Knight grinding in stereo here as Ali and Tilo look to continue gaining experience, and Fryteeth is going to continue his exploration here, having just found, I believe this is the grave, no, this is Mountain Cave. So Fryteeth could possibly obtain Erdrick's sword here pretty soon. And that would just figure, because of course he's only just purchased a hand axe. So we'll see if he manages to get to that last chest in Mountain Cave to retrieve his Erdrick's sword. I am interested to see what Tilo does here. He's left Hawksness with minimal resources, and so I'm not sure if there's a town nearby that makes this grind especially convenient. It seems to take a little while to get to Hawksness. But it looks like we're not at least not gonna see on his screen, because this Armored Knight has Dragon Lord Two Breath and blocked him off. So that's going to make the Charlock dive that much more difficult. If the Armored Knights have DL2 Breath and use it with any frequency, that could be a bit of a problem. Ali, now just a little bit shy of level 13, is going to make his way around to the golem. So this is the first time we'll get to see a fight here. Has to sort through all of his fairy water to find the fairy flute. And he's going to trigger that. But Fryteeth, I believe, did just make it to the bottom of Mountain Cave, so I believe he has his sword. Ali here using a fairy flute as a buffer to heal up, putting this golem to sleep. And he is going to take it out, and this is going to get him just a little bit shy of the next level. So I think he's going to take another one. Swamp Cave is much closer to start than Hawksness is. So it could be interesting here. With the Fairy Flute, the Golem still isn't an amazing grind, but they do have a ton of attack power with Erdrick's Sword. So this could indeed be viable, where you don't really like to use this fairy flute as much during combat, but it could be a better hedge against having to walk all the way to Hawksness. So Ali is going to get his Golem, and simultaneously we've got level ups for Ali and Fryteeth. And as our restreamer Lord of Ascent is pointing out in chat, if there's anything he's learned from using the flute, the Golem will stay asleep basically one turn. That was pretty remarkable what it was doing to Ali there. Just a ridiculous fight. You would hope that the Golem would stay asleep the entire fight. When you've got 135 attack power like Ali does, you can usually get that fight done in maybe 4 or 5 swings as long as your rolls are decent. So the Golem just has to stay asleep for a little while. And it looks like this one is going much better. I think Ali is in full-on grind mode here. He has not actually rescued the princess yet. He's just going to keep taking golems. Tilo has made his way around to the tile as well, and it looks like Fryteeth is also perhaps on his swamp approach. So this could get interesting in a hurry. A lot of different ways this could unfold. Racers might decide to leave for Charlock on an earlier level, or they might decide to stay in grind, so plenty of things could still happen here in terms of divergence in this raid. For what it's worth, Tilo does have a slight experience points lead, about 400 experience more than Ali right now, actually, and this will bounce a little bit back and forth as Golem fights continue. But for Fryteeth's sake, he has decided to just fight the Golem's fight, manage to get through, and he's going to rescue Princess Gwaelin. So now, this gets very interesting. He's going to cast the spell of Outside, and it's possible that he's thinking about Charlock. Yeah, 62 HP Charlock dive, perhaps. Charlock is going to Charlock. And Fryteeth is going to get sent back to start. So, this could be a tricky one. Tilo is making his princess rescue here also at level 13. So Tilo with the princess in hand. Ali looks like he's going to go for another round of grinding, having refreshed his resources. So with Red Dragons in Zone 1 and low agility across the board, even for the 2 racers who are running on an agility MP build, this could indeed be a very difficult Charlock Castle dive. The MP is merely okay, but yeah, it's really incredibly low, as our restreamer Lord of the Sins is pointing out. For agility MP on level 13, that's a bad agility score. The stats have just not been kind to our racers, except for that strength score, which of course is probably worth, of your 4 main stats, worth the least, potentially, in this flag set. Just because it's not necessarily requisite that you fight anything in melee combat. So, yeah, regardless of build, our runners find themselves in a pretty dire situation when it comes to this agility, and Tilo has picked up his level, and it's just a 1 agility level. He did pick up 9 hit points, which isn't so bad, but no MP, no strength. So wow. What are we gonna see here? This is decision time for our runners. Are they gonna chance this, or what will the call be? Tilo does still have the princess. He's managed to avoid a death. He's gonna head back out, heal encampment. Ali has only, I believe, 2 golems left to reach his next level. So that's 1 down. And the race is most definitely afoot. Now it's interesting here, Freyteeth appears to be doing a little bit of exploration. I'm not quite sure what it is that he might be looking for at this point, other than perhaps Hawksness. He knows that Golem is there, and he thinks if he thinks there might potentially be a better grind than Hawksness, that would probably be a pretty good play. But unfortunately, this Red Dragon has barred his path. Ali has picked up level 14. He's going to check his stats screen. I'm not quite sure if he's still reveling in these empty eye levels at this point. He was having a bit of a fun with it earlier on screen with a little pop-up, but it looks like this could be... He took the turn toward the princess's cell. There it is. Ali enjoying his empty eye level finally, after possibly a few moments of frustration. He did take the turn toward the princess, but instead he's going to head back and fight more golems. Meanwhile, Tilo has taken the opposite tack. He is headed into Charlock Castle. And we'll see if he has any better encounter luck than Freyteeth did on his opening attempt. Back attack from an Axe Knight for his first encounter. On this agility score, you would assume that's a relatively frequent occurrence, so that doesn't help matters. Is going to expend a little bit of resources getting through that fight. And of course, even on these agility builds at level 14 with Erdrick's armor and a large shield, none of our racers breaking anything, so Repel in Dungeons isn't going to help you out in this seed like you might expect it would. Part of the reason you would likely want to run an agility build in this sort of flag set, but not going to be of any assistance today based on the way these statistics have gone. Tilo into the second basement. He's had some favorable encounters so far, just a couple of Axe Knights. Does run into a Red Dragon here, and that's always cause to hold your breath, but he gets away first try. Oh, and we find out Armored Knights on the first floor too, so the 2 most difficult enemies in the game to run away from are your Armored Knight and your Red Dragon, and both of them inhabit Zone 1 of Charlock Castle. Tilo is approaching the end of that zone, and he's going to, I feel justifiably, use 2 Hurtmores to get away from that Armored Knight, but immediately runs into a back attack Red Dragon. And we'll see if he manages to get away here. If he can of course gamble here. If he gets out of this battle and can get out of Zone 1, perhaps the other zones are kinder, but we have no way of knowing until we get there. So he's just going to go ahead and use up some heal mores trying to get away from this Red Dragon. An Angel FMR tracker saying Zone 2 also has reds. I hadn't actually seen any encounters in Zone 2 yet, so that is unfortunate information for all of our racers this evening. Ali Jerbrap, it appears, has had enough of his grind. He's going to rescue Goylin. So we'll see if he also decides to attempt a Charlock dive at this point, perhaps considering fighting some more battles. He's about halfway to level 15. As Tilo winds his way around the Charlock basements. I think Freyteeth has spotted Hawksness, so he's going to head inside, and we'll see if he is able to obtain his Fairy Flute and do a little grinding himself. Meanwhile, Tilo's Charlock dive continues to be hampered by these frequent red dragons. He does manage to get away from that one, but he is officially out of magic points. So if he's going to get it done on this dive, it would be really something as he heads into Zone 3. Tilo has made it into the final basement, and he's going to do a quick treasury check. He, of course, is the only runner who does not yet have Erdrick's sword, so he's gambling. It was actually a pretty decent shot, at least from his perspective. But Erdrick's sword might be here. We know he'll be ultimately disappointed. He does find the death necklace, so that's the location of that item. But not going to be of much use to him here. He's really just got to hope that there's as few encounters as possible on the way around to the Dragon Lord, and that this zone is more favorable than the first couple have been. We'll see if he is going to be able to get this gun done here. Meanwhile, Aliger has started his Charlock dive, and Tilo's got one more Red Dragon. So Red Dragon's in Zone 3 as well. Incredibly unfortunate, and I think, oh man, to make it that far in a Charlock dive and just get stopped at the tail end, we still don't know what that boss tile is yet either. That could have proved a significant hindrance. So Charlock looks like it's going to be pretty rough. You've got Red Dragons in every zone. You have Armored Knights at minimum in Zone 1. And as Lord of the Synth, our restreamer points out, a jet that has turned into a slog. Who possibly could have rolled this seed? I will leave that for chat to speculate upon. So if you're just joining us, we do have about an hour, a little bit over an hour gone now in this seed. Aliger is making his dive through Charlock Castle, but Charlock we have seen already, thanks to a protracted dive by Tilo that was ended just a little ways before the boss tile on the final floor of Charlock Castle. Has been pretty difficult. And as you can also see on screen right now on our tracker, the agility has been quite poor, even for those racers who are on the topmost portion of your screen, Aliger and Tilo. We're both running agility builds, and still don't have much agility to speak of on level 14. And Aliger dive is going to come to an end here as well at the hands of one of those red dragons that inhabit every zone of Charlock Castle. So this has been a very lethal Charlock, and one would assume that much more stats are required. Tilo had to expend all of his resources before he even reached the final basement in terms of both herbs and magic points, just to make it as far as he did last time, and I feel he was probably fortunate to do so. So we might see some more grinding here. In fact, I would be surprised if we did not see more grinding here, as we see Fryteeth heading to what appears to be his preferred grind spot in Hawksness. And because of those two Charlock dives we've seen Ali and Tilo make, he has caught up a bit in experience. He should have enough MP on this pass at Hawksness to get level 15, hoping for some better stats there, and Ali is going to go back to his preferred grind in Swamp Cave, fighting these golems through the use of the Fairy Flute. So the story of this seed so far, if you're just joining us, we had some Erdrick's armor on a very close search spot just across the water through Swamp Cave from Tantajo Castle. We also have piles and piles of strength. You see Fryteeth here on level 14 running a strength build, has 101 raw strength, and with Erdrick's Sword that takes him to 141 attack power. So big strength here, HP below average to say the least, and agility approaching abysmal. So a couple of our runners have attempted Charlock Castle and have been sent out. After some longer dives, Fryteeth gave it a try as well, but was unceremoniously dismissed just as he entered by one of the red dragons that is in every zone of Charlock Castle. So, it looks like we've settled into another grinding phase here. And we'll see what Tilo opts to do. It looks like he is perhaps making his way toward Hogsness for that Axe Knight grind, much as Fryteeth has. Speaking of Fryteeth, he's going to be the first of our racers to reach level 15. 1 power, 6 speed, 9 hit points, 8 magic points. So still not great for him. It'll be a little more agility on that level for Ali and Tilo, as they are both running agility MP builds. Fryteeth running a strength HP build. So he's going to have a little bit more in terms of hit points, which is now approaching acceptability for a Charlock dive in which you're not required to be the Dragon Lord. This, of course, using the Three's Company flag set. So that means all they have to do, sounds easy, yeah, is make it to the Dragon Lord and accept his offer with Princess Gwaelin in their arms. If you didn't like level 14, as Fury SK is pointing out in chat, you probably don't love level 15 either. And with that in mind, Fryteeth has continued to grind here. He's going to run himself out of resources and take the Death Warp to get those magic points back, it looks like. So he's going to keep grinding here as well. Certainly on a Three's Company seed, you would not expect to be having to go much beyond level 13 or 14. We've seen many races concluded so far this week with levels merely in the low teens, sometimes 10, 11, 12. This seed just does not seem as though it's going to permit it without extraordinary luck, and so with that in mind, our racers have opted to continue grinding here. Seems to be the optimal solution to the problem at hand. Ali Jerbrap reaches level 15, so his gains will be slightly different than Fryteeth's, where 1, 6, 8, 9. With that level, Ali's decided, I believe, that he's going to take another go of this. He's rescued Princess Gwaelin again. It looks like Fryteeth believes this is going to be his opportunity as well. Looked like he might continue grinding there as he took some more Axe Knights after his level 15, but he's just going to rescue Princess Gwaelin as well. So Fryteeth will be hot on Ali's heels here as they exit Swamp Cave. Ali appears to be going back through Swamp South, actually, whereas Fryteeth is cast outside. So I think Ali's going to take the in-stop at Cantlin. And we'll see what Fryteeth opts to do. Tilo, meanwhile, if he was going to grind golems anyway, he's found this patch of golems that has given him fits this seed, that is barring the way between Tantagel Castle and the first town over Mulder. And so he's just, since he was walking through anyway, he's just going to take a couple of golems here, and this is going to get him his level 15, provided everything goes to form. And it does. So Tilo on level 15 now as well, another decision point for another one of our racers. What will he decide to do now that he's got level 15 under his belt? One thing that might weigh in Tilo's mind here is he does not have Erdrick's Sword yet. He was stopped in Mountain Cave before he could retrieve it from that final chest. So he's got 30 fewer attack power than he would otherwise have. He does have the broadsword, so not a bad weapon, and on 114 attack power you can get a lot done. But it appears as though he is going to make his way, I want to say, toward Hawksness again, based on the way he's going. It's a little bit difficult to tell on this map exactly where things are. But he did refill his resources, and we'll see where he's headed in just a moment, but we do know where Fryteeth is. And he's going to try to fight these red dragons, and I think on 142 attack power, that's a pretty good solution. You're going to be doing between 24 and 48 damage to a red dragon on Fryteeth's current attack power, and so on average that's going to make it about 3.5, a little worse than 3.5 swings per fight against a red dragon. You can definitely win damage races against red dragons, even on their defense power, which isn't great either on account of that lower agility. But fighting the red dragons could prove to be a good solution, at least. I guess at most, probably, you would have to spend maybe a heal more against those reds, whereas if you attempt to run against the red dragons and fail multiple times, then you could end up spending more resources than that. So I think fighting them on this much attack power is a solution for Fryteeth. He has made his way through the second basement, now in the third. The floors are relatively short at this stage, but they feel very, very long when these red dragons keep popping up. Ali was forced to fight that red dragon outside of Charlock Castle, so he's going to press the abort button on his Charlock dive, head back to Tanagel, recover his resources, and go back through again. Fryteeth into the next basement, this the last floor of Zone 2. Only 2 dark basements left after this one, followed by the final floor. Still with 63 magic points in his back pocket, so things have been going reasonably well for Fryteeth on this dot. I think the choice to fight the red dragons will prove to be a successful choice, at least in terms of taking care of these battles. We talked about the damage range here. The defense is of course suppressed as well because the agility is low. So the red dragons here do have a max swing of 43. You've got to make sure you're healing at the appropriate times. And on their hit point totals, they're not necessarily guaranteed a swing in between red dragon attacks. So managing your resources is very important here. Fryteeth is approaching, as our tracker Angel FM has pointed out, to the next level, so he could easily hit 16 before he gets to the Dragon Lord. We know there are reds in this zone as well. So all it would take would be a couple of encounters with really anything, and he could get level 16 before that boss spike tile. The level may or may not do much for him at this point, but if he's going to continue fighting his way down, he isn't going to get there. He's going to try to run from this Axe Knight, though. And then say, skip it, I've got 49 MP and I'm going to fling a hurt more. So down goes the Axe Knight, and he's going to continue his march through the final basement here. Uses a heal more down to 36 MP. He's going to opt to hack his way through this one as well, as Ali Jerbrap makes another entry into Charlock Castle as well. We'll see what he opts to do here. Fryteeth off this Axe Knight has picked up the next level, 2 power, 1 speed, so there was still no agility coming on the next level, but 16 HP, 14 MP. The magic points will do him no good at this stage because he doesn't recover those. It merely adds to the maximum. But he is up over 100 hit points now, which is much more favorable. But the encounter rate has just been devastating for Fryteeth here. He entered this floor on over 60 magic points, and he's already been forced to expend half of that pool. And he's going to have to burn another heal more here as he just barely scrapes by that Axe Knight. However, he is closing in on this boss tile. We haven't seen the spike yet. And we know that there's possibly several dangerous enemies, but as long as he's got enough MP, he can handle most things that might be here. A favorable enemy could be a golem, because they do have possession of that fairy flute. What is it going to be? It's it's a stone man. We haven't seen many stone men this seed, if any. So Fryteeth opting to go immediately to sleep. And this is only about a 3.5 swing battle, so with enough resources, one assumes Fryteeth is going to be able to get this done here. Only swinging so far, and the Stone Man goes down. So, with that said, there could still be encounters between Fryteeth and the Dragon Lord just on this little walk on the brickwork. But he has made it. So everybody get ready to get your GGs out in chat. Fryteeth is going to pull out this race. He has accepted the Dragon Lord's offer, which is exactly what you've got to do in this flag set. Making it all the way to the Dragon Lord with Princess Gwaelin. Fryteeth pulling down the all-important 5 points here in Week 4, getting himself to 15 total, and putting himself in much better position as the playoffs draw closer. Official SRL time for Fryteeth, 1 hour, 15 minutes, 40 seconds. Job well done. Meanwhile, just behind here, Ali is continuing his Charlock dive. And he has decided to fight through these red dragons as well. They are plentiful as he runs straight into another one. Did not heal in between fights that time, however. So this could be a little bit more resource-intensive a struggle. Does manage to eventually slice through that red dragon. Tilo has headed back into Swamp Cave. So he's going to, at minimum, fight this golem. We'll see if he decides to rescue the princess here and keep going, or if he's just going to proceed to level 16. He is pretty close. It would only take 3 golems total to get him to level 16. So he'll have a decision to make here, too. And he is going to press just straight onto the princess's cell. Rescue Gwaelin yet again. And it seems like once more into the breach. And we do have joining us right now in the Discord today's race victor, Fryteeth. Job well.
Thank you.
So take us through that seed a little bit. Really interesting one. The statistical progression was it just felt so stretched out in both directions. No agility, no hit points, but just a ton of...
Yeah, I mean, I found pretty much everything I needed. I don't know, pretty early, other than the sword. But yeah, just couldn't get enough hit points to make any.
Yeah, when you have an enemy like the golem there guarding the princess, then it becomes very difficult when you don't have enough HP to really even take one hit and swing it.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky that first time that I took it down, but then didn't last very long in Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte on sub 50 agility, Charlotte Castle is a pretty tough ask. I mean, it was a brave effort, but I mean, just so give me your feelings about the siege generally. What were kind of the points that stuck out most?
I mean, pretty easy early on. You know, found the Swamp Cave, found Charlock pretty quickly, and I think I found the armor pretty quickly. And then it was just a grind looking for everything.
Oh, sorry about that. I was having some Discord issues. So, kind of maybe then talk me through your strategy a little bit. When it comes to this flag set, what are your objectives? What are you trying to accomplish? I mean, obviously the armor and the sword are helpful, but what were you really thinking about as you were kind of reaching different decision points in this?
So this is actually the first one of these seeds with this flag set that I've actually finished. My practice was just sort of getting to a point where I knew I was comfortable and then kind of starting over, thinking about it. But for me, it's, you know, just making sure I've got enough weapon and armor to survive, and then enough hit points and agility to run away from everything getting through Charlock.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Charlock is just going to be Charlock, right? So as long as you get to that point where you think, okay, I'm ready to take on Charlock, then that's essentially what you've job done so far as your practices.
Yeah, that was how I felt about it.
I do want to take a moment to point out, Allie appears to be headed back across again toward Charlock Castle. Tilo did pick up level 16, 2 strength, 1 agility, did pick up that big hit point boost, 14 on his build, and then a bunch more magic points as well, 12. So he's got plenty of heal mores, plenty of resources in his back pocket for this upcoming dive, as he's got Gwaelin Toe now as well. So we're going to see Allie make another attempt, and we'll see if he has any better luck on this path.
I mean, at one point, you know, with how high the strength was, if the hit points had gone up, I was thinking about just making a conventional Charlock dive.
That was one other thing I was going to ask. That the attack power was so big. I mean, if Charlock had been a little less oppressive in terms of the encounters, you just had red dragons everywhere and everything else. If you felt like you could conserve your resources long enough, then fighting with the Dragon Lord, you could just skip the Princess Rescue and go take the Dragon Lord out.
Yeah, if it hadn't been for the red dragons everywhere, but I didn't have enough hit points to do that either.
Right, exactly. Still on level 16, on your build, so your 2 opponents, Ali Jabrap, Tilo, both opted to go with the Agility MP build. You went with a much more traditional Strength HP build, and so that actually got you into the hundreds by the time you were in the final basement there and picked up level 16. But yeah, the hit points coming along so slowly and the Agility just was a pretty bad combination for making a successful Charlock dive.
Yeah, it was a strange Charlock dive because, you know, fighting every red dragon you run into in Charlock is certainly not normal.
It is certainly not. But I think ultimately it was a really great idea when you have that ability to do that, and then you know you don't need to save the resources for the Dragon Lord at the end. Then I think fighting the red dragons there is definitely a good choice, as we see both Ali and Tilo doing right now on their respective Charlock dive.
Yeah, I could see it was only taking 3 rounds to kill most of the red dragons, and the hope was that it would get me another level on the way down and give me enough hit points to survive.
Well, it sounds like everything went to plan in that regard, at least. You did get some extra hit points there on the final floor, and were able to complete that seed. Ali has picked up level 16 as well, so he's going to get his gains. The MP gain isn't going to be of much use to him here. He's going to opt to just continue diving, which does make sense. Was not able to heal in between there. He's already exhausted a lot of resources just in the first 2 floors, so he's going to try to run from that red dragon. He does get away. So, Fryteeth, any final thoughts before we get back to our other racers here?
No, I think I'm gonna duck out here, but thanks for the commentary and the tracking and the restream tonight.
Absolutely, thank you for stopping by. We really appreciate it.
Have a good night.
And to you. So dives continue in earnest for Ali Jabrap and Tilo here. both looking for the second place finish here. That'll be worth a valuable 3 points for whichever racer is able to complete this seed first. But that is much easier said than done, as these red dragons continue to borrow racers at every path, at every point in their path. Ali opting to run now from the reds. I'm not sure that will be advantageous in the long run. He's now just got 4 Healmores left. As Tilo makes his way into Zone 2, that diamond-shaped floor, the second basement of Charlock. And Ali's had to spend more healing here. The one difference between these dives, of course, is Ali Gerbrap does have Erdrick's sword, so he's currently sitting on 138 attack power, whereas Tilo is still working with that broadsword and no fighter's ring, so he's only got 116. That does make a material difference in the red dragon fights, but Tilo has been opting to continue to try to fight his way through anyway. So far, with success, but we know of course that can turn on a dime in this kind of a Charlock castle. All it takes is one run of red dragons, and that expends a lot of resources, and all of a sudden you're much shorter than you thought you were. But Ali has made it into the final basement. He's got 16 MP left, heal walking as he goes here. Ali now past the 12 o'clock position in Charlock, headed into the sand before these bridges. Has had plenty of encounters, but at least more favorable encounters than any of those more difficult runs. At this stage, getting a red, some star wyverns, a green dragon. And now this Axe Knight before the spike time. What is he going to decide to do here? Runs away from the Axe Knight, has enough herbs to restore his hit points to maximum before the tile. On 138 attack power, this is only about a 3.5 swing fight against this stone man. Manages to get it to sleep on the first turn, hits for 55, takes a big hack, and a bigger hack on the second swing for 56, so the third should definitely do it. It does get the job done. Ali is going to round the corner here. Is he going to get an encounter before the Dragon Lord? The answer is no. So with that in mind, as long as Ali accepts the Dragon Lord's offer, and he does, much to the Dragon Lord's surprise, then Ali Gerbrap is going to be your second place finisher in today's race. Get your GGs out in chat for Ali, as he has finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 58 seconds. Tilo hot on his heels, but today it looks like he's going to have to settle for that third place finish and the accompanying 2 points. Was on the final floor of Charlock there as Ali finished things up. We'll see if we can get Ali in here for a chat at the end of today's race. As Tilo's got 26 MP left. And he's going to make his way toward the spike tile if these Axe Knights will actually let up for just a second. Yeah, Sir not appearing in this race has had a pretty poor league. It's just really unfortunate. No, but for those not aware, there was one other racer in this race. Jake Coper was scheduled to be in this one, but had to be elsewhere this week, so we definitely wish him well as he's traveling right now, but as a consequence, he'll only pick up the 1 point for this week, and that means that Tilo, now that he's gotten through his Stone Man, is going to walk right up to the Dragon Lord and accept his offer as well and put this one to rest. So please get your GGs out in chat as well for Tilo. Tilo makes it to the Dragon Lord with the Princess. Official SRL time, 1 hour, 29 minutes, 30 seconds. So job well done to Tilo as well. And we have now joining us in chat, Ali Gerbrap. Ali, good job.
Thank you.
So give us your impressions of that seed. I'm sure that running Agility MP, like a lot of people have been this week, you did not expect to end up with a seed that had agility that was as pitiful as it turned out to be in this.
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, HP also wasn't great also. So, like, I didn't feel it was a bad build, but the one thing it was, like, just having to fight the Red Dragons because you feel it's the best strategy to just finish the seed. And, like, I felt that the amount of MP we had at 15 was good enough. It wasn't on my... It took me 3 tries, though that's not great.
Yeah, it ended up being a very difficult Charlock, regardless of your build. I think Agility MP is a favorable one, and I think it was probably a good choice for this flag set, but just the statistics on the seed specifically were such that it made everything that much more difficult. And as you said, fighting the Red Dragons probably proved to be a good decision on the way down.
Yeah, I gained 16. I was down to, what, 16 MP on my Stoneman fight. I don't know what they had, if they had anything, because like I slept and just pounded at it, and I didn't know what else it had. And I was kind of still worried because I was down to like not a lot, so I was hoping that was good enough. And like I felt with if you didn't go with an MP build, you might have lost too much MP to like just get down to just to the Stoneman and accept the Dragon Lord's offer.
Yeah, exactly. It was a very favorable Stoneman fight. We only saw a couple of turns in which the Stoneman was awake. It didn't appear to have any abilities. I suppose we could check that on via the tracker just to find out for interest's sake. But the Stoneman being on the tile, definitely a relief, I'm sure, because there are plenty of other things that could have been there that might have been a little bit of a worse fight. I really probably don't want to see another Red Dragon at that point, although I think you had enough MP to get the boss taken care of regardless.
Yeah, I had enough herbs and MP, but like I'm still disappointed in how I played a bit this seed, just trying to figure out where where Osnus was to get the fairy fruit, because I felt he needed it just to beat the golem. I'm sure everybody like was looking for it. I'm not sure if everybody got it.
Yeah, everybody was looking for the fairy flute, and everybody did eventually get it, because that golem fight on the HP totals that you had to that point in the seed were just really bad. And joining us right now is our third place finisher from today's race also, Tilo, G.
If I never see another golem, it will be too soon.
Even before we saw the spike tile, CD, when she was still here, CD was commentating with me at the beginning of the race, but she had to leave for the restream for race number 2 of the evening. But we just kept looking over, and it seemed like every time we were looking at your screen, you were getting run blocked and sent back by another golem. So that must have been really frustrating.
Yeah, it was like golems. I mean, we didn't have any agility, so the fact that we couldn't run is not a big surprise. But I've made hero runs before, and those golems were preventing me from making any hero run to start off, so it was really frustrating because I had hurt more, and I could hurt more scorpions, or I could go south and get killed by red dragons, or I could go north and get killed by golems, and it was like, I have this powerful weapon, and I can't seem to use it.
Yeah, that's always frustrating. I can ask you both, Ali and Tilo, about this. So an early Hurtmore seed, and you think, okay, we might be in for a jet here, but just the way the statistics and everything else progressed, the map and some other things in that seed, just really seemed like it was trying to constrain you at every point.
Yeah, it was, the stats were just absurd. Did anybody find Erdrick's sword?
Yeah, it was at the bottom of the last chest in Mountain.
Oh,
Yeah, it was so bad because we saw a couple of different times. I think when you had started your count, Tilo, you went to look for the armor, didn't quite realize where it was on the first pass, and maybe took a death. And then when you were in Mountain Cave, took a death before you could get your hands on Erdrick's sword too. So a couple of just really unfortunate things that happened over the course. A couple of the many unfortunate things that unfortunately happened to you over the course.
yeah, that totally changes my strategies if I don't get sniped by that red dragon on my way to the last chest. I thought about going back for it, decided against it, but based upon the way the map was, it didn't seem like I had much more to explore, so I was like, well, there's all these chests hiding around, up into their towns. I didn't really want to go explore for the sword, but I was looking at my hit points and my agility and going, this golem grind is going to be ridiculously slow, and based upon how bad the stats are, I'm not anticipating anything getting better over the next level or two. So it might be worth my time to invest in trying to find Erdrick's Sword as an upgrade over the Broadsword to drastically speed up that golem grind. And especially after knowing that all 3 zones had red dragons on the descent. And so, yeah, I don't think I would have ever checked that chest. And that's disappointing, but I mean, that just kind of goes in line with the seed. It's all about the red dragons and the golems, and they continue to pester me the entire seed.
Yeah, for sure. It was a shame to see because it was really this. Everyone was kind of in the same boat. It seemed like everywhere you went, you would get blocked by a red dragon, or just randomly put to sleep and dragon lord 2-breathed by a wolf, or whatever else. It was just one of those seeds.
Yeah, it was a true Lord of the Sun special.
And there it is. So, GG's to Lord of the Synth Esquire, our restreamer, for baking up another something special this evening.
Yeah, it was a fun one. Like, I mean, I don't know. Just like, I mean, it took me a while. Also, the Armor Knight, I didn't know they had DL2 ref until really late. I think on my second Sharlock try, I saw that and I was like, oh wow, that's another thing I have to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that was a pretty challenging Charlock in basically all regards. It just seemed like the encounter rate was high for everybody, which of course is random. But I mean, it was a pretty ridiculous Charlock. So,
yeah, it was nasty all the way through. I mean, one of the reasons is it didn't have or barely saw any of the lower tier Sharlock monsters. It was all the upper tier things. Like, I think maybe I encountered a couple Star Wyverns and maybe one green dragon. Outside of that, it was all Axe Knights and above.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just very unkind in all respects. So I'll put it to you both. Do you, Ali, Tilo, anything else you'd like to comment on so far as the seed goes?
No, it was a fun one. It was definitely a challenging one for this particular flag set because there's so many ways you could have gone with it. Decide, do you keep just banging your head and hope to get away from a red dragon, or hope to avoid encountering the red dragons, or do you explore and try to find more stuff? And it was a really fun one to try to make decisions in, because there were a lot of different ways you could go, and I don't know which of them would have been optimal to do. Beyond that, I just want to thank everybody who volunteered, Archfield Monk, CD, Angel, Lord of the Synth. And I just appreciate all the work everybody does behind the scenes to put on the show. So thank you guys very much.
Yeah, well, you know what? That was just a seed that, it was really challenging because I don't think I've faced some seeds as challenging as this one. I practiced maybe 4 or 5 seeds, and none of them were as hard as this one. And it's really, how do you beat it? Do you feel good about your Sharlock luck? And I don't think I was that challenged in any of the seeds I practiced. And that's the one thing you never know in Dragon Warrior. You never know when it's going to be that bad. I want to thank everybody who gave their time. You, Archfield, Angel, or the Synth, CD, everybody. And you know what? I hope it's going to be better for next week for the vanilla-ish.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. So good luck to both of you next week. I think that's going to about do it for us here on Randomania this evening. Thanks all of you who stopped by to watch tonight. I believe our restreamer Lord of the Synth said we're going to head over to RM2, where there is another race already in progress. Same flags here. Week 4 continues on. Veil UV, Amazing Toaster, and Gulf 35 in that race. So on behalf of our tracker for tonight's race, Angel FM, and our restreamer Lord of the Synth, I'm Archfield Monk. Again, thanks everyone for stopping by, and we'll see you next time.